Hey everybody, welcome back to Contest Prep University. Joe Klemczewski with Adam Atkinson. And this week I want to talk about a client of mine who brought up a topic, Adam, that we cover from time to time in maybe different ways with some different nuance. But the question was, I'm really struggling with certain family members and friends who don't seem eye to eye or don't see eye to eye, don't seem to give me much support with my choice to be in physique sport. With dieting, going out with friends, or going to family members' homes during holiday events, and being faced with those odd conversations where it's like, well, why aren't you eating this? Hey, why don't you try one of these? Like, yeah, no, I can't, I'm dieting. So we've all been there. And, typically we try to help people kind of navigate those circumstances with one foot on each side. You have to be able to protect your goals and your right to have those goals. I mean, the first thing that competitors will often say is, "Look, I'm the one being healthy here. I'm trying to take care of myself, and you're giving me shit for it." Um, but then you also have the social obligations or aspects to be in those relationships, and so there is some responsibility on your part to handle that appropriately. You can bring people along and help them support you more, or you can kind of be a fly in the ointment, so to speak. So, a lot of this to me comes down to how you handle it, and maybe even at a more core level, how you see your actual identity. So, with that as a little bit of an introduction, what do you think, Adam?
Think it's a good place to start. And I think every scenario is going to be different. When I think of going into this topic, I'm really big on self-awareness and self-accountability with my clients. So the first thing I'm going to ask my clients to do is, first check yourself and give yourself an evaluation. Like, are you really being treated differently? They're not going through this process. There can be a lot of lack of awareness. If it's, you can't really expect everyone to know everything about bodybuilding. So, first check yourself, make sure you're not, kind of being a baby or being, really hard on your friends. But then if that box gets checked, I think you need to investigate each person on a individual basis. So, secondly, are these factual or are they feelings? And this is where you can kind of have a conversation with everyone, especially if it gets bad enough, and maybe each person individually. You may have that jealous friend who, you know, maybe they're overweight and it feels weird for them to see yourself self improve. And you know what? Just because someone's jealous doesn't mean they're not a good friend. Jealousy can happen, but people should genuinely be happy for you. But make sure you turn those feelings into facts, like actually get them validated. Um, that can bring you closer with your friends, or just, like you said, a fly in the ointment. It could actually help you guys fly together. And I've had clients who have had to say, you know what, this is my friend who is maybe not the best friend for me to be around right now. Just like when you have your drinking buddies in college, you probably grow out of that. Um, you have some people who you may not be able to be with when you're directly in prep, but, doesn't mean you can't reconnect with them once that prep is over. And conversations are key in this format.
Yeah, your first point there is impressive. I did not even consider this as a technical layer to start from, but to check yourself. Like, am I already on guard? Am I setting myself up to be overly sensitive and just kind of my radar being up to start fielding those punches? And that is so true. Uh, it's my first step was tangential to that in that when I mentioned a few minutes ago, like what is even your identity? If you walk in ready to swing, like I'm a bodybuilder, I'm a bikini competitor, and I'm better than you, I'm healthy, I'm the one taking care of myself, then that's probably what you're going to get. You're going to be looking for a fight. But if you're very inviting, and this is something that just goes into human communication, if you start sensing, that little pushback, like really you don't want to, you can't just take one bite, you can't take a day off, you can't, come like just say, wow, like, wow, it means so much to me that you want me to have fun. It means so much to me that you care that I participate in this event, at the same level you are. But trust me, this is important to me, and here's why. Like I've been working hard for 6 weeks already. I've been doing this. And so I promise you, like this will be the first thing I eat when I'm done with this contest or when we get back together, next time. I won't be in prep. But again, like being positive and at first, expressing some gratitude. Thank you so much for being that concerned about what I put in my mouth and that I'm enjoying it at the level you are. Don't be sarcastic like I was there. But, it's very, very helpful for them to feel engaged because that's what they're after anyway. They feel disengaged from you socially because you're doing something else. And that's the exact opposite of what this event is supposed to do. So show them that you are engaged and you value them. And like you said, maybe I mean nobody's looking for converts. You're not going to try to get them to put down that dessert and all of a sudden try to lose 5 pounds. But it's like, hey man, let's focus on other things. What else are we doing here besides eating? I think that's a really good point on your end.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that I have seen friendships divided by prep, and I do think that it is a two-way street. And you do have to. You also have to realize you're likely going to be more sensitive during prep too. So I tell a lot of my clients, don't make major relationship changes. Don't make, you know, major job changes or maybe even friendship changes. But do feel free to journal and investigate those things at a later time. With bodybuilding, we should also be doing some life building as well. And there can be a lot of reflection when you're doing a lot of cardio and you're thinking about things. And but sometimes some things can get mixed up when you're, maybe you're thinking about something too much or just one aspect of one event that happened. And it's, you can get fixated on stuff when you kind of have nothing better to do.
That goes back into my point that how you perceive yourself, what is your identity as a competitor? I was having a conversation with an intern in our company this morning, and he's going into graduate school for exercise science, concentration and nutrition, working on different things. And he, as a hobby, is a competitive bodybuilder. And so for the business he's trying to create, his ultimate goal is to be an academic, but also to do some coaching on the side. All perfect goals but young enough and just getting started in his career. So as part of his internship, we're kind of modeling what some of those client relationships look like. And my point this morning in bringing this up is that I started by saying, you don't have the experience yet to have worked with 100 clients or 1,000 or 10,000 clients, but eventually you're going to see that there are certain categories that are pretty reliable in client identity. Some people are the ones who, man, this has been my sport of choice. I count it as a performance sport as well as a physique sport. I love it. I've been doing it for 15, 20, 25 years. It's just part of who I am. I've climbed the ranks in this way. And, maybe you're at the beginning of that, but still that's your plan. That's one type of client. Others are the person who's, maybe got that dad bod. They're 40 years old and it's like, I really got to get in shape. I'm watching these TikTok videos and I'm feeling bad about myself. let me do a bodybuilding contest. That'll do it. That'll give me that external motivation to get myself back in shape. That's a client type. There's another one that can be a little more psychological in that because of even childhood trauma and so forth, and maybe you didn't have the childhood or the genetics to be the person you wanted to be comparatively to friends and siblings. So now this is a journey to fix yourself. Whether you understand it or not, it's all about I just need to be better and leaner and look this way and that way, and then my life will be amazing. So we're going through all these client identities. And of course, he had never really put it intellectually in that realm, but you as a listener or a viewer to this information, I wonder if you have ever thought of that. Why do I even do this? Um, as you said a minute ago, Adam, am I maybe putting a little too much emphasis on it when it's really just kind of a hobby? Or is it 100% like my career focus? I'm going to achieve this, this, and this, and do it for a living. I think the amount of inner turmoil, conversation, the defenses we may put up in these family and friends situations in prep, like that's reflected. Like people see that and feel that. So, kind of back to being a little bit too defensive, maybe there's a way to let people know that you are serious because it's an amazing part of your career and it's what you do. Or maybe it is just a hobby and you could factor in a little bit more flexibility into those events and not have so many of those arguments.
Absolutely. I think that everyone has a different reason for doing everything. And, recently I've been on a weight loss journey, and sometimes the thought comes in on how far can I go just to see where I'm at? And I think that would be really cool to have just that simple statement being the reason for a return. I don't envision that me being on stage though. I think for me it's what would I look like close to my old stage weight, or can I even get there? It's been since 2013. It's been a long time. I'm older now. And just as that, almost as if you would use a minute mark for a 2,000-meter row, to me, it's just the data of how much muscle have I actually gained or have I lost since I've, aged, or, you know, does my skin adhere to my body like it used to in my, 30s when I competed? And, I think it will, but I don't really know until I go through it. I don't think many people do this on that simple statement. Um, and I think that's where we really get into the division of, you essentially, most people, I think, get into this because of their health. But, at what point do we start sacrificing that for, whether it be mental health, physical health, health of your family and friends, to achieve this goal? And I think that's really where checking ourselves comes into play.
You just gave a tremendous example that we can run with to finish out this podcast episode. The fact that you have not competed in 12 years, yet you have that background. You know what it's like to be a high level competitor, working with every ounce of energy you have to get to a goal and accomplishing that and seeing the benefits. Like you lived that life. And now, 12 years later, coaching career exploded, life moves, all kinds of things. And now all of a sudden you're in a place where it's like, I want to do that at that level, but with maybe different goals. And of course, as you said, it's a different body. 100% perfect example of why it's important to sort out how you view your identity and your goals. So you just gave kind of the opposite, which is good, of the Dunning-Kruger effect, where you said, I don't even know if I can look that way. Maybe I gained muscle, maybe I lost. I don't know. Like, I don't know how this is going to turn out. That kind of open minded curiosity, that I'm willing to retrace those steps for new reasons. Um, and all the things I know, this is what I even do for a living, let alone having done it personally. But just the acknowledgement that it's going to be different and you have to be receptive to information instead of just saying dogmatically, like, this is me, this is who I am, I'm getting back on the horse. That is so necessary for people to enjoy the process even the first time. If they had that attitude, then I think those potential conflicts where you interface with people who you feel aren't supportive, they're not recognizing how serious it is to you, maybe some of that softness and flexibility again needs to come from you, and they're just reflecting the hardness that you're portraying to them.
Yeah, absolutely. We see it where people, sign up for shows because they want a specific outcome. Is this a smaller show? I'm going to do that one. And that's okay. You just have to understand that in competition, this stuff is not guaranteed. There could be a national show the next weekend. Legends is usually small for men's bodybuilding. Just so happened three guys were prepping for the Arnold, and I saw one of the most insane amateur lineups of bodybuilding. It's supposedly one of the smallest shows of the year.
Mm. Yeah, I mean this kind of gets back to we're all different in some ways. And I know the bodybuilding community, maybe because it's a little bit more external, people can see those differences. But I mean, if you're part of the Dungeons and Dragons playing community, or you're part of this community or that, or, we all feel at times a little bit insecure and on edge about how we're going to be perceived in social situations. So I understand that to feel rejected for your sport and your inclusion in something that's even potentially healthy just feels like an assault. But again, just understand why you're in it, why you're doing it. And this reminds me, it's such a big part. I'm getting ready to go speak at Paul Ravella's Command the Stage Bikini Competitor Conference. And my workshop is on the psychology of nutrition. And this kind of fits right in with a foundational point. But we're going to be talking about that even in our Contest Prep University D1 club this week. We're going to have a little special edition on that. So those of you guys who are members, we'll give you notification there. If you are not a D1 club member, make sure you reach out and ask questions. It's a private group that some of our viewers and listeners participate in, kind of behind the scenes, a little extra personal help without it being a full coaching relationship. But Adam, again, thanks for your participation here today. Great, great. I always learn something from you every time we chat, so appreciate that. We'll see everybody next time in Contest Prep University.